Hey, creating invoices for your Gumroad store every year is a big pain in the ass because you have to generate invoices to Gumroad for every time Gumroad pays you out. There's lots of calculations you need to do, so instead I wrote a little app that does it all for me and creates all the invoices for me. And here's a little walkthrough of the app. Here it is. It's pretty simple. You just have to drag and drop all your sales data here. Where do you get this data? I have a little tutorial built into the app as well. You just have to go to the Gumroad website and then click on sales. And then here filter for the time you need invoices made. I usually filter for the entire year. Like I have to do it now for 2024. And sometimes there's a problem that it cannot export if you had too many sales in one year. It has trouble exporting the whole year at once. So then you need to maybe filter half a year and then do the other half a year and download it. And no worries, this tool handles the deduplication. If you have overlap of months or something, I check every row for you that there's no duplication in your invoices. And then you can simply drag and drop all these CSVs in here. Let me quickly show you. I have here mine downloaded in 3 batches, and I'll upload them all at once. And it has here some nice little summary of how many records are actually in these CSV files, how many sales I made, how many were paid with card, how many paid with PayPal. And then I have a bunch of sales that didn't make any money. It's just free sales. And don't worry, it will also only create the invoices for the actual sales where money was flowing. And here's just a little overview to show you that data was correctly loaded. It just shows 10 records. Yes, and then here's one more step we need to do before we can generate the invoices is providing your company data. So you go to settings and put your business name, your address, and city, zip code, whatever you need. And then, of course, the tax ID, which is something like that. And your VAT ID, which should be something like that. And then you save this configuration, and it will appear like this on your invoice. There's a little preview. Then you go back to dashboard. Your data is still here. And then you can select here. In the date range, it automatically selects all the dates that you uploaded. So starting range from, I uploaded data from 2 years ago, from 2023 until end of 24. Then you can set here the invoice frequency, which is the thing configured in your own Gumroad settings. There's daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. By default, it should be weekly, so leave it on default. If it's weekly for you and the first day of the week is Friday, this is because for me, that's how Gumroad does it. But if for you it's somehow differently, you can set another day, but I calculated it, and usually Friday is the first day and Thursday is the last day, and then they pay you out 1 week later, usually. Yes, and up here, it can generate 2 different kinds of invoices. And this is where a lot of the complexity from the Gumroad store comes from. There's the Gumroad non-PayPal way, so the way where they pay you out to your bank account directly. And then they have the PayPal way, which they basically deprecated since last year, but it was still going until last year, October, where they would directly pay to your PayPal account, and then PayPal would deduct its fees, and then they would deduct their fees from your PayPal account. And this is really difficult to put correctly in your accounting software. And this is another reason why I wrote this tool, is because they calculate VAT on top of that, and then they take the VAT and their Gumroad fees out together. But for my accounting, I needed to include the VAT in the invoice, and then later I can deduct their payment, the payment to them, as basically costs for my business, so that in the end numbers are correct for my business. And for the PayPal, I also have an invoice frequency. I do for me monthly grouped because they're usually tiny amounts and I don't want to create individual invoices for each $2 amount. You can do that if you have bigger sales and you want each one accounted for individually. Then you can select individual invoices here. But I do monthly grouped, so it groups all the sales during months together into one invoice for me. So next, what you can do is you can preview invoices. If you click on preview, it just shows you how many invoices it would create. So here for PayPal, it would create you from that data 10 invoices. And if you click here, it also shows you kind of the summary of each individual invoice. There's one for December, January, February, and what would be the totals for each of that. So this is just for a quick check for myself. I needed that to kind of cross-reference the numbers, especially if you do, let's clear this preview and do the same preview for the direct payment. If you preview the invoices here, it's many more. So it's like 44 invoices. I guess I didn't have every week of the year sales, but 44 of the weeks had sales. So it would create 44 invoices. And then I can double check if this is correct with the payouts that I received for them in my accounting. Sometimes you will see that there might be some cent differences, but this is also because you can never be entirely sure what they used for currency conversion. I use the official ECB rates of that day of the sale, because Gumroad says on their own website that they use the currency conversion rates of the date of the sale. And I do that too, so just so you know. But still, there might be slight differences of cents. Yeah, unfortunately, you might have to live with some of those. And once you click here on generate and download, okay, I came back and added one more feature. Now there's actually this checkbox, download as zip file, and it's checked by default. So when you download, this will download one single zip file with all the invoices in one place, which makes it so much easier than before where you had to click save multiple times. As you can see, it saved the invoices here. So it generated all the invoices and you saved them. And it also shows you here which one it completed. And that's it. Then you have all the invoices for your business. They look something like this. Let's look at one. They have your company in the top, then the address of Gumroad, because Gumroad is the merchant of record. So they're actually your customer. Not the people who buy the things from you are the customer, but Gumroad is the customer. They are the merchant of record, so to speak. And you are creating invoices for them. So, and then they pay you for your services of providing these products. Each one has a unique invoice number based on the day of the payout. They all have a period. It shows also the date, the exchange rate on that date that was used to calculate from the dollar price to the euro price, and also shows you the actual payment reference, which usually for the PayPal payments, this shows up also on the PayPal transaction, which makes it easier to identify later in your accounting. Once you upload the invoices to your accounting tool, it will be easier to identify which sales belong to which invoice you just generated. And also later on, this will make it easier for you to see if you ever get asked by the tax authorities, what did you use as a base for calculating all this stuff? It's all right here. So you can go back to that data and clearly see this is the exchange rate that was used, this is the price that was paid in dollars, and here's the price that should have been invoiced in euros. And hopefully that's exactly what arrived in your account. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And let's also look quickly at what it would generate for PayPal. Let's quickly do this. Generate. Here we go. Just generated a few. And let's see, for example, here. So here what you see is price might be higher than your actual price that you asked for your thing is because it also includes the Gumroad fee and the VAT. By the way, how the VAT is calculated is also quite complex because each country has a different VAT that gets applied. And for the US and for Canada, you even have different VATs based on provinces and on states. My tool automates all of this. It pulls the correct VAT for the correct year, for the correct country, and the correct state or province. So otherwise, it would be crazy to do all of this by hand. Yeah. So, and that's it. This is how you use it. And hopefully this can help you get the accounting right for your Gumroad store in Germany. And now you can get this little invoicing tool on my Gumroad store, actually. Happy tax declaration.